Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm your host James, and I'm here with my mate Dave.
Hey everyone.
Today we're going to be talking about Season 7, Episode 13 of The Walking Dead. Now don't forget to join in the discussion in the comments. We'll be reading them.
Let's get into it.
So I thought this episode started off pretty poorly, but the second half I think was pretty good.
Okay, wow. I had the opposite, vice versa. I thought it started pretty good, and then for me personally, didn't like it.
No, that's interesting. But anyway, we open with...
King Ezekiel laying down one single melon in the back of a truck. That seemed like a bit of overkill, but it's explained later in the episode.
So things are looking a bit bad for King Ezekiel.
Yeah, right, because he's looking over the royal garden on the balcony, and one of his subjects come and they say, "Hey, King Ezekiel, man, bad news, we've got weevils," which is really bad to have in your crop. Allegedly, I'm not a farmer, so I don't know these things. But anyway.
I think it's a bit of a sign, like the weevils are the saviors.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
you got to burn them, you got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of foreshadowing, you know?
Yeah.
We move on from that.
The crew from the kingdom go out to the saviors to meet their demands of 12 melons. But, to their surprise, there's only 11. And why are there only 11?
Because our friend Richard, R.I.P., spoiler alert, he removed one watermelon from the truck. And how did he do that? Well, he set a
bit of a trap.
Yeah, he set a bit of a trap or a...
diversion?
Yeah, a distraction tactic by pulling out all of those trolleys in the middle of the road. While everyone jumped out and they were concerned, like, what's going on? He took one melon. But interestingly, they'd also diverted him and the crew to this grave that said on a cardboard sign, "Bury me here."
Yeah, and what's also interesting is that there was a backpack there that read Katie or something.
So obviously that was his kid.
Yeah, obviously.
They make the drop, but there's only 11 melons instead of 12. And the saviors have to make an example of this because they didn't deliver. They have to make an example of someone.
Yeah, someone has to pay.
Yeah, and for the longest time, Richard was always the one they said that was going to get it first.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it was Benjamin who got the bullet.
And you could definitely tell something was up. Benjamin was going to get the chop this out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, they showed his brother. They were talking about how...
love interest.
Yeah, the love interest. Yeah. You know, and, tearjerker. The annoying savior kills Benjamin.
The mongoose. That's what we call him, the mongoose.
Yeah, the mongoose. And I think Benjamin called him a rat or something like that. So
rat face, yeah.
The reference to him looking like a particular type of rodent is not just only from us. So Benjamin died.
Took him to Carol, and I think that sparked her fire to, get back into the war after she saw what the saviors were capable of. Something as heartless as that,
Agreed. But Morgan, he goes investigating. He goes over in his head, and then he goes back to where they were held up by the trolleys.
Yeah, he starts going a bit mad as he's investigating, though.
Yeah, and then he puts two and two together, and he figures out that Richard did it, and his plans backfired because instead of Richard getting killed, Benjamin got killed.
Yeah, we hear all this in a conversation between them both, and Morgan, he doesn't say a word.
No, he doesn't. And that was a really great opportunity, by the way, for the guy that played Richard to show his acting chops, because Richard, up until that point, has been very stoic and very stone-faced. So
yeah,
you got some emotion out of Richard in that scene in his room with him and Morgan, where Morgan just looked at him. I don't think he said one word, right?
No, he didn't.
He walked in and he threw one crate down on the ground. Very tough, Morgan.
After that, they go back to the saviors to meet the demands of the one melon that they were missing.
One stinking melon, right?
Yep. And as Richard went up to them and said, "We understand," and was giving them the melon, Morgan attacked him.
Yeah, from behind, no less. What a coward, eh?
Yeah, King hit him. Nah, but he choked him out.
Right. He murdered Richard right there and then in front of his friends, right?
Yeah, strangled him to death. I can't believe someone with that much zen,
so much enlightenment,
could do that. And his buddies from the kingdom just sat there and watched. Like, I can't believe that. Like, step in. That's one of your, loyal soldiers getting, killed.
That is your commander-in-chief. Or that is your colonel, Ezekiel. And how long have you known Morgan for? What, 2 weeks? 4 weeks? 6 weeks at the most? And you let him get murdered in cold blood? And you don't do anything.
Yeah, it's quite strange. Like, pull him off, for goodness sakes.
Yeah. No wonder you're in this predicament. You're not acting, and you're cowards. Richard was the man. You know, he was someone that was going to do something about improve the situation, but now what? You got some Zen dude called Morgan.
Oh, I don't think he's very zen anymore. Speaking of Morgan, after the deal was struck and they gave them their last melon, the kingdom went back to their encampment, but Morgan, he chose to stay out and he went into a bit of a frenzy, went a bit mad.
If I heard correctly, because I've only seen the episode once, did he say, I'm going to kill them one by one, being the saviors?
I think I did hear him say that as well.
So he's going down the dark path back to...
Before his end days, yeah. I'm glad. I'm actually glad because he will join the war and he'll be a valuable asset to the kingdom or Alexandria. If he's bloodthirsty like that, he'll cause a bit of damage to the saviors.
See, I disagree. He was very, very wild and savage, and he was a loner when he was out by himself, right?
But that's why you need to unleash him, Dave.
I think he'd be a danger to everyone. He'd be a danger to his friends if he goes back to the way he was before. You remember, right? What was it, season 3 or 4? Where they come across him, Carl and Michonne and Rick, and Michonne steals a protein bar. Yeah, he was crazy then, and he was a danger to them then. And he also wanted to kill the Zen Master when he first met him. But anyway, it's going to be good. He's going to be off on his own storyline, killing other people, not busting other people's balls for wanting to do stuff.
Not being a bro, as you'd say.
Yeah, so before he goes off, we get a bit of tag team action, right?
Yeah.
Morgan's walking down Crazy Town, and Carol's walking straight out, and they cross paths, and Morgan knocks on the door, and he tells Carol what's up, and he says, what did he say again?
He said, you want to know what happened with the saviors in Alexandria?
And she was like, yeah.
So Morgan tells Carol that Negan murdered Glenn, Abraham, Olivia, Spencer, and made her cry, but she's, I think, convinced her to go back into the war, which is great. Carol's going to be a great asset to Alexandria.
That's right.
And she even helps convince King Ezekiel at the end to join the war. King Ezekiel says, yes, we have to go to war with him, but just not right now.
I wonder why just right now, because I think Richard's whole point when he was speaking to Morgan was, I waited to do something for too long, and basically my daughter died in front of me because I didn't do anything.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because you've got Rick in Alexandria and King Ezekiel in the kingdom, and they're both waiting for the right opportunity, but then you got people like Richard, Rosita, and Sasha, who are just going to act right now and possibly screw things up.
Look, Rick is doing something, and it's going to take some time to do. And so
But he's not doing something right now.
Yeah, there's a difference between doing something right now, and then there's a difference between doing something to do it. Like, King Ezekiel was 100% closed off to the idea of solving that problem, whereas Rick is doing something right now to do something. He's getting the guns, he's getting the allies, he's getting his army ready.
Right.
Which is what Rosita doesn't understand, and that's why she needs to calm down.
Yep.
You agree with me on that one?
Yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah.
So the episode boils down to, a few things. We've got Richard's failed plan, which led to Benjamin's death. We got Morgan going crazy.
Richard getting killed by Morgan.
Yep. We've got the kingdom going into the war and recruiting Carol with them.
Welcome back, Carol.
Yeah.
Any interesting thoughts?
Interesting thoughts. Yeah, I'm excited for the war to come. It seems like it's very close to happening. And what about you, Dave?
Oh, I got a lot. They killed Richard, and I'm not very happy with that.
Yeah, me neither. But I'm also happy that Morgan's gone back to his old ways.
I really don't like Morgan.
Another interesting thought was, at the end, we see Morgan carving his stick into a spear. So rather than a staff, it is now a spear. And it's interesting because it means he's turned back into his old savage wild ways. Because as we see from the previous season, when he's with his Zen master, there's a point when he's actually recarving his staff into a spear. It's only until the Zen master dies, turns it back into a staff.
Definitely foreshadowing. Definitely foreshadowing. I was very upset that Richard died. I don't know if that I made that known during the podcast, but I'm very upset. I'm interested to go back to Alexandria, and I'm interested to go back to the Saviors, and not interested at all to go back to the Hilltop.
Right. So, that's about it. I've been your host, James.
I've been Dave.
And thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. I'll see you all next time.
Bye.